What is up, everyone? I am Chris Knight, and this is The Real Review 3000, and this is another episode of Movie Talk with Chris and Stig. I am Chris, and of course, right there, that is Stig. Stig, how are you doing?
Hello there. Doing quite well.
Great. We talked about this last week. I think about a week ago exactly. But we've been doing a lot of movies lately, a lot of different action films and different things like that. We did some Arnold Schwarzenegger, several in a row. We did Eddie Murphy. We've done Sigourney Weaver. I don't think we've done any Stallone though yet, have we?
No, this is the first one.
Yeah. So today we're gonna tackle Cliffhanger, or we're gonna try to grapple with Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Or
let's hope we don't reach rock bottom.
Well, that's definitely.
Let's go for new heights in terms of views.
Indeed. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and I'm going to let you take a minute to tell everybody about yourself, Steve. Tell them where they can find you and all of that good stuff.
Oh, I can easily do that in less than a minute.
I'm sure you can.
Yeah, just a fellow from Norway who hangs out with YouTubers and talks to them on YouTube. Nothing special, nothing fancy. Just a geeky fellow from Norway. That's it.
All right. Yeah, so today we're going to talk about Cliffhanger, if you can't tell by the background and all that. I think it's an interesting one to pick for our first Stallone. Probably not what most people would say, but it's still, I think, I would say very underrated for a Stallone movie. But let's just get right into it. We're going to start with our first impressions. Go ahead, Steve. Tell me what your first impressions of this are.
My first impression of this was in the middle of a cinema room, watching it with a couple of friends back in '93.
Yep.
I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, one of the, actually, it might have been the first time I went to the cinema without parents with me.
Ooh.
Could be.
Yeah, I mean,
great experience at the cinema, this one, because the all the height shots really gave you, that vertigo feeling. I loved it. Pure awesome.
Yeah, it was. I gotta say, I'm not sure how they did everything. I know that they did a lot of stuff on sets, but the sets were done very well. They were large sets, and I seem to remember. I would have to go back and really double check, but I seem to remember hearing that Stallone actually did a lot of practicing climbing. So when it shot to a close scene of him, it looked very similar to the professional climber that they got. Because whoever the climber is, that guy's crazy. I mean, some of the scenes that you see, the wide shots and some of the things that this guy's doing, oh my God. I'm like, I've gone and done some basic climbing and rappelling, but nothing like this, nor would I ever. I'm not afraid of heights, but I respect heights. I don't think people who hang from underneath a cliff, I don't think they care. I think they're just like, I love it. I'm doing it.
Stallone actually signed up for this movie to help him deal with his fear of heights.
That would make sense. I mean, this type of a movie really could do that, and sometimes just full immersion into something like that is the best medicine. So
we have Stackhouse, Lady Toriel, and Mad Mardigan in the chat as well.
Yes, awesome. Mad Mardigan. Whenever I think of this movie, I'm reminded of Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls and everything gets mixed up. Was it Stallone, Jim Carrey, who was birthed by Rhino? Jesus, mad Mardigan is mad. Sean Stackhouse says one of the best Stallone movies. Yes, indeed. Lady Toriel. Are we on the edge of our seats? Shall we plummet right into the movie?
Oh, very good, my lady. Very good.
Yes, I think she's on the right track with that. So I remember going to see this with my father. My dad, I've mentioned it several times. There were certain movies and certain actors he was really big into. Stallone was one of them. Any Rocky film, if it was, if it had to do with being a cop or something like that, big time into that. But I remember going to see this, and I want to say this is one of those first movies that was going into like the THX digital age. And so when you go in, the shots, like you said, the wide shots were very immersive in the theater. And yeah, I mean, if you were kind of scared of heights, I think this movie kind of would affect you.
Yeah, I think this is one of those movies that I had the best cinema experience with.
Yeah, I think what I would love to see this movie get is an IMAX treatment.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that's possible to convert it, but if it were, that'd be really kind of cool. With the wide shots and all that. But I went to go see it in the theater too with my father, and I loved it. There's lots of action. There's lots of tension built up. The beginning of the story really sets up what goes on between a couple of the characters as the movie goes on, or actually the three main characters on the, I guess you call it the good side. Those three.
Yeah. They actually take time to give them a few scenes, so the audience would actually care about them.
Yeah, and also you then when what happens at the beginning, which we'll get to here in a minute, when that happens, the rest of the movie makes sense. The tension that's there, the I guess the tension's the best way I could put it. But yeah. Guys, do me a favor if you're in the chat, if you're watching, please smash that like button and also go on Twitter right here at chrisknight5150. My pinned tweet is for this current broadcast. So please do me a favor and share that with people. Let them know about the stream. We greatly appreciate it. Let's go to behind the camera. Behind the camera, so director,
that would be a fellow Scandinavian, Rennie Harlan. He's from Finland. He's not a bloody Swede.
Too many people say that about you, don't they?
Less now.
You've taken care of some of them. All right, so the composer is Trevor Jones, who did films like Excalibur, Runaway Train, The Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, Mississippi Burning, The Last of the Mohicans, In the Name of the Father. So some Time Bandits. Ooh, nice. I didn't know that.
The Last of the Mohicans had a tremendous score. And I do say that the score in this one is pretty damn good as well.
Oh, it is. I think that it's. I think that it fits the immense scenes you see when there's wide shots. The music is very expansive.
It's almost heroic.
Yes,
kind of. And it's recognizable.
Yes, for sure. Sea of Love, Free Jack. Let's see here. He actually, Last of the Mohicans came a year before this, so makes sense.
It's ironic, the Last of the Mohicans came before.
G.I. Jane.
That one's underrated.
Yeah. Notting Hill, interesting. I mean, it's obvious that he doesn't really, it's not like he picks one or the other. It's like he has a very wide berth when it comes to what he does music for. iRobot, Around the World in 80 Days, Yeah, so quite a bit of different things. Some television shows.
Basically, he's top of the line.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. If you look, though, let's see here. Rennie Harlan, as you said, looking here, his film, seeing Die Hard 2. Makes sense. Cutthroat Island.
Very, very underrated.
I liked the movie. I went to go see it in the theater, and people just trashed that movie. I'm like, but it was. I didn't mind it.
I mean, what's wrong with it?
I don't know. People.
I mean, it had the best boat explosion in movie history.
Oh yes, that was freaking amazing. Deep Blue Sea. Driven. Oh, he did Driven. Wow, that's interesting.
I think he did The Long Kiss Goodnight as well with Gina Davis.
Looking. I don't. Yeah. There it is. Yep. 896. Yep. Blast from the Past. Interesting. Oh wait, no, he didn't direct it. He was the producer of that. Okay. Exorcist, The Beginning, and The Covenant. 12 Rounds. The Resident. Yeah, I mean, but no, he has. I mean, Die Hard 2 is probably Die Hard 2.
Yeah.
Cutthroat, Long Kiss Goodnight, Deep Blue Sea, and Driven.
It's like he has a whole lot of movies that aren't top tier, but they're second tier, right?
It looks like it. I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. Did you were just going through all those, weren't you?
Yeah, I didn't like 4 that much.
Okay.
But it wasn't the worst one either. But
no, they get worse as they go.
Yeah, the third one I thought was the best.
Surprisingly, yes, it is one of the best. The first one just isn't quite a horror movie, but yeah. Yes, Lady Toriel, this is a different kind of good guys versus bad guys.
No, she doesn't say versus. She says virus. What are you talking about, Lady Toriel? Virus bad guys?
I see versus. I know that she said virus, but hey, it happens. All right. So that would be behind the camera. I don't think I'm looking at. Well, let's mention this. Sylvester Stallone. Again, unless you really pay attention to movies, you may not know this. He also was one of the co-writers on the screenplay for this. He is very involved in his movies, if you didn't know that. He always wants to have something, some hand in it. Producer, writer, director, or all three. But so he's kind of a behind the camera person too, because of that. So, and if I remember right, wasn't this based off of a book?
Don't
short
think
story?
so.
No.
No, they were gonna. Well, I have this in the trivia section, so I can't say it.
Okay, we'll wait for that then. All right, so we will now go to the cast. The cast.
Very good cast in this one.
Yes, a lot of people that would be in other things. John Lithgow, I like him. He's great. He's a great actor. Manhattan Project, Third Rock from the Sun on TV. He's done a lot of stuff. And
he was actually the third choice.
Was he? I did not know that. I'm sure you'll get to that then. Sylvester Stallone, of course. Let's see here. Michael Rooker. He wasn't he in some Bond films?
Michael Rooker, no.
No, I'm trying to remember what I know him from right offhand.
The Walking Dead.
Mississippi Burning. JFK. I don't watch The Walking Dead. I know. Everybody boo, boo, boo. The Bone Collector.
It was in Slither with Nathan Fillion.
That might be what I know.
Excellent actor.
Mallrats, Tombstone, The Dark Half. Well, he was in a couple of oh, that's right. He was what's his name from Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the guy with the stick.
Yeah. Find it here real quick.
Rondo or something.
Yondu.
Yondu. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was in 1 and 2. He was in that Fantasy Island movie. And he's going to be in Suicide Squad, the new one. The Suicide Squad. Interesting. Yeah, but he's been in several of the movies that Rennie Harlan has directed. So again, we go back through this, and when you go back and look through their filmography, it's like, oh, there's some correlation here. Like perhaps they had a good working relationship.
The guy who plays Travers in this movie was also in Cutthroat Island and The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Awesome. Miss Martin Muses is in the chat. Thank you very much for being here, guys. Please again smash that like button. Go to my Twitter at chrisknight5150 and please share that tweet that's pinned to my Twitter. That is for this stream. I would greatly appreciate your help. Janie Turner, I know she was in a few things.
Oh, she was in what's it called, Northern Exposure? That show, sitcom drama-ish thing, went on for many years. Excellent show.
And she was in Quantum Leap also, but yes, Northern Exposure, that would be more what I know her from. My mom and I used to watch that a lot together.
That was an awesome show.
Yes, it was. It was very good.
I think I saw something about they wanting to bring it back with the same cast.
I would not be against that, as long as it. I mean, again, you got to put your time to it and not just throw it away. Leave It to Beaver, 1997. She was June Cleaver. Steel Magnolias, I forgot about that. But not a ton of movies, but she has a lot of different TV credits.
Yeah, the other lady in this one has a way better.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's go back. Carolyn Goodall.
Yeah, she was in Schindler's List.
Schindler's List, Hook. She plays the mother. Disclosure.
She was in the Mists of Avalon miniseries, which is really good.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. The Princess Diaries. I know she was in that also, but hold on. I think she was in Ronin with Robert. Robert De
Niro.
Yeah, Robert De Niro. I think she was in that.
That one has Sean Bean in it, and Bean doesn't die. Rare movie.
Let's see here. I think I'm looking. Maybe not. She looks like one of the ladies in it, though.
She was excellent in this one, though.
Arguably
the most competent of the villains as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, then, gotta love how they handle that.
She's the only villain that doesn't make any mistakes.
No, she doesn't, and she does her job. Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, quite a big. The
FBI guy. The guy who's in charge. That's Lieutenant Traxler from Terminator 1.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yes. Trying to look.
Oh, and the English henchman. For people out there watching that are gamers, his name is Craig Fairbass. He is featured as a voice actor in 5 of the Call of Duty games. Playing some of the main characters.
trying to find what that guy's name is. Is it Paul Winfield? Yeah, Paul Winfield. That's who it is. Yeah, Paul Winfield. Again, you get a lot of these people who are, who team up in action movies. They find their way into a lot of different action movies. So great cast, like you said. Can't really beat that, you know. So let's move along to the story. This story is simplistic. Not that that's a bad thing.
Yeah, it's simplistic, but it has layers, and it's well written.
Yeah. Okay. So we start where I guess there's a distress call, and Gabe and Jesse are dispatched to go there. I guess they already know that it's their friend Hal and his girlfriend. They're up on top of this mountain, and he has an injury that kind of gets to him by the time they get up there. The cold, the muscle tension, all that stuff. And it appears that this is more, I don't want to say it. It's like all lighthearted, really, at the very beginning. It's very lighthearted. It's, oh, you see, you shouldn't have come up here because you're not healed up yet. Oh, la, la, la. And it's all very lighthearted. They land this helicopter, and basically they go and they're basically rescuing them. And as they're going across, Hal goes across first this major crevice, this ravine or whatever, and
on a wire.
Yeah, on a wire, and or zip line, whatever you want to call it, and no issues. And then his girlfriend, which I believe her name is Sarah, Gabe hooks her up too, and she starts to go across. She's hesitant because she's not really much more than a novice climber. So as she's going across, one of the buckles or stays breaks, and she starts to fall. She grabs onto the strap, and she's dangling there. Gabe goes out to try to save her, and long story short, he doesn't. I would say, really, at the very beginning of this movie, that is a very first off, it's a big statement to make about the movie, just right off the bat.
And it's filmed so well; it looks real.
Yeah. Oh God, yes. Well, because they're doing shots from right above, shots from out, wide shots, just all of that. And I mean, I'm sure I could go find how they did it thing. I'm sure they have maybe a net or something.
Oh, but it's probably a reason why we haven't seen the actors in any other movies. So it's obvious what they did.
Well, you know, they'll never admit it.
Nope.
Hey, you know, she took one for the team.
Sometimes in life you have to sacrifice an actor.
Sometimes, especially for a great shot like that. Yeah. So just right off the bat, you see
like the director yelled cut, so they cut her safety line.
Oops, I didn't mean that. But right at the beginning with the banter and how everything's going before that part, you can see that Gabe, Hal, and Jesse, and even Sarah, this girlfriend, they all know each other. Obviously, they're all well acquainted with each other, and it's all a good time up there. Like I said, it's very lighthearted until that one split second when she starts to fall. And the first time I watched this, what's the first thing you think? It's Stallone. What's going to happen? He's going to save her.
Oh.
But he doesn't. That type of thing doesn't happen in movies. Here's your hero. let's be honest, it's Stallone. It's Stallone's movie. This is your hero. And what's the first thing you see in the movie? He fails. You don't get that anymore. I mean, right off the bat, he fails. He is a flawed character from the very beginning. Not because he is flawed. It's just it is something that happened. He couldn't have saved it. There's nothing he could have done. But he blames himself because the very next scene is basically him coming back several years later. Actually, I'm not sure. Is that the very next scene? Yeah.
No. The next one is the money transport. Travers being put in charge of a money transport plane.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember if it went to that first or right to him coming back, but yeah, so you're at the US Treasury office or whatever, and they're getting the money transfer ready. You see all the stuff they're doing to lock down these cases. There's interactions that make it where you see certain people. You get to meet Richard Travers. I'm trying to remember what. Let me see what his. Now, Paul Winfield's Walter Wright. So you see these guys, and nothing seems amiss. Seems like a normal transfer. They're putting it on a plane. They're going to transfer it. And hold on just a second. Why don't you take it from here for just a second? Okay.
Okay.
See? All right. Just a second.
Yeah, they talk to the well, there's a conversation with the FBI agents. They task Travers with transporting the money by plane to I forget where they're going, but they're transporting money by plane. And then it skips to Stallone returning home. He's driving, and a couple of young, those old '90s radicals doing base jumping and all kinds of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Catch up with him, and they start talking about him, and they want him to join because they're going to jump from a certain point. It's going to be awesome, and he doesn't want.
They start ribbing him because they're like, "Oh, what? You lost your nerve because you've been in Denver?" I guess he's been in Denver. I'm trying to remember exactly what he was up to in Denver.
Oh, he's just been working. That's what it says.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't take the bait. They drive off, and Gabe shows up at his girlfriend's.
Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse's very nice house.
Well, it was their house, if I remember right.
Yeah, there's horses, and there's a river next to it, and holy crap, this is an awesome house.
It is.
First thing I noticed, I wanted to live there.
I want to be a ranger if that's what that's what I get paid to buy that. Jesus.
Yeah. And there's a lot of back and forth. Gabe doesn't want to work there anymore because of what happened, and he's not put it behind him. And
she talks about how, well, he tries to get her to come with him, and she says, "No, this is our home." Basically, because that's how you know it belongs to them, or it belonged to them, because she says, "This is our home. This is where I belong. This is where you belong. You need to come back and work." And he's like, "I can't do that." And she tries to tell him, "Well, it wasn't your fault. It happened. You did everything you could to save her, and it just didn't work out."
Remember back when they had strong females in movies? Yeah. It's like it was always a thing.
Yes. That was before the Empire.
Empire.
Yes. So they had this conversation, and she basically ends up kind of leaving in the huff and going to work.
Yeah, and at work, no, sorry, we switched to the plane again.
Mm-hmm.
One of the FBI agents are he spots another plane that keeps following them.
Mm-hmm.
He confronts Travis because we learn later that someone he was there to keep an eye on Travis.
Yeah, well, first off, Travers goes in to the cockpit and says, "Hey, drop down to 15,000 feet," basically giving them instructions. As soon as he comes out, this guy confronts him. I'm trying to remember which one it is.
I'm not even sure if he has a name. He's only in the movie for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Basically, he's a good cop.
It's Matheson. That's all you know, Matheson. And he says he's trying to hijack the plane, but the two other agents that are on the plane take him.
One of the agents is the guy who plays MacGyver's friend on the MacGyver show.
Yeah, that's right. It is, isn't it?
Yeah, the guy with the mustache.
Yeah. But they grab him because Travers basically, I guess they believe him over this guy. And then Travers pulls his gun and shoots the three of them.
Yeah, and then one of the pilots shoots the other.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden they have control of the plane and the money, and we see John Lithgow and company in the other plane.
Mm-hmm.
They drop a wire to it, and they send the money. Well, start sending the money over to the plane.
Well, first Travers goes over first, and they said, "Well, why didn't you send the money?" He says, "I sent the money. I wouldn't have made it," or something like that. He basically says, "I'm coming first because, well, I don't trust you guys." I mean,
the other guy, the pilot, starts hooking up the money. Kind of gets stuck, and as he's trying to help them fix it, the FBI agent, who isn't dead, he's just almost dead,
and Matheson,
shows up and shoots the hell out of the pilot, and one of the people in the plane. He actually shoots the plane as well. Peppers it with bullets. They start having trouble. One of the villains gets killed, the guy with the sniper rifle. John Lithgow just says, "Hey, we need to take him to a hospital," so he tosses him off the plane.
And he gets this man to a hospital fast and pushes him.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Both planes go down. The money's lost.
The money, they're transferring the money. The money, because the guy gets shot and the plane explodes, it releases the zip line between the two of them. And the money's still attached, and as they're trying to bring it in, it falls.
Yeah, they just fall off one by one, and then the plane crashes. And they lose the second pilot in the crash as well. So they're actually down 3 men already. And this is where the female villain, who is Lithgow's girlfriend as well.
Yes.
She calls the Rangers.
Christelle.
Yeah. She calls the Ranger service and says, we have injuries, and then she points out we need insulin, which is a good way to get them to hurry up. So she, like I said, she is competent. Travers is getting a lot of shit from everyone else because they blame him.
Well, they blame him for coming first, but like he says, if I didn't, I would already be dead. And but he's also kind of at this point they kind of hold him at gunpoint and say, give us the tracker, because he has a tracker. And he says, fine, here. And he gives it to him, and he says it's 15,000. I think it's 15,000 variable codes that change every 15 seconds, isn't it? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that. And only he knows something.
Yeah, he knows the way that it works. Basically, he's the only one that can make it work. So at this point, Lithgow kind of just throws it back at him with a disgust look and says, "Fine, you're coming with us." Yeah, and so
and it switches to the ranger office. Basically, they get the call. You get to see Michael Rooker and the old guy Frank, who's also the chopper pilot, having some interactions, and it seems like a very nice place to work, actually.
Yeah, Frank and Jesse are both the pilots. They both can fly because in the very beginning, it's Jesse flying, if I remember right.
I think Frank is there too.
Frank is there, but I think she flies the helicopter at some point of it. I don't remember.
Yeah, she's the one flying it in the first scene. Yeah. Anyway, they send Michael Rooker out to help them. I think it's Jesse tells Stallone about it, and he decides to go help as well because he can
remember.
He can get there faster or whatever.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly how they get. I think she basically keeps on like pushing him. We need your help. We need your help. We need your help. And they're like, fine, I'll go.
Yeah, and he meets up with Michael Rooker. There's tension. Michael Rooker is pissed at him.
Well, yeah, Hal is definitely mad at him still and tells him to go home.
Yeah, they don't. Well, he doesn't, but they find the villains and they get taken hostage. And John Lithgow wants the two climbers, Hal and Gabe, to help them get the cases of money.
Yes. The first case, when they get there, basically they send Gabe up to get it.
Yeah, and they take his jacket away too. And there's a snowstorm kind of brewing as well. Bad weather.
Sporting says, "Hail Chris and the one true king."
You got that right, Sedavas.
Oh, how about that? And Miss Martin Musa says she's yet to see this movie. I should. Yes, you should. It is a very good movie.
Well, we're kind of spoiling it now.
Well, we'll kind of dial back some of it.
Yeah.
Because I still think that the way that this works out is you got to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to see it.
Yeah. Well, they split up Hal and Gabe. Hal stays with the with the thieves, and Gabe goes to climb up to the top of this cliff where they know the one of the money cases is at. And they tell him to tie a rope to him because they want this dog on a leash.
Yeah, he gets up there and he opens the box, and he realizes, shit, there's a lot of money in here. And Quaylen, John Lithgow, tells the others, we should kill him when he gets back because we only need one. And then Michael Rooker starts yelling to warn Gabe. And they start pulling at the rope to pull him down, pull him off the cliff. Stallone barely makes it free by slicing the rope.
Yep.
They start shooting, and that's releases a small avalanche, which kills one of the villains.
Yeah, what's funny is I mean, I understand the avalanche part from the gunshots. I mean, they've proven that can happen in small areas, not like
they use a grenade launcher as well.
But I'm trying to figure out what they think they're going to do with the shooting because he's on a cliff that he can back up and not get hit. But hey, you know what?
And the guy who gets taken by the avalanche, he starts shooting at the snow.
He does
before it hits him. I laughed my ass off when that happened. It was like, that's not going to work.
And then Lithgow, I think, well, they think that Gabe dies. They think he falls and dies or something, or that he killed him because of the avalanche. And Lithgow's character, oh God, Quaylen.
They call no, the Jesse calls them.
Yeah, and that's what happened.
And Michael Rooker gives her the wrong location.
Well, he says the wrong location. He says, no, don't bring air support. It's too windy up here. And then Quaylen grabs the radio, so it sounds like the transmission was lost.
Yeah, and then she immediately figures, yeah, this is he gave us the wrong location. They're not supposed to be anywhere near there.
Yeah, but
she takes the plane and goes to this location where they have to go
she has Frank drop her off at a location she knows the wind and all of the conditions are going to be fine, and that she can get to the place that he said if they're there. She's like, I can get there from here if you drop me off. But I was going to mention that Lithgow here, he has some good lines here, and he really is underrated as a villain in this movie. But I love the line he says, your friend just had the most expensive funeral in history.
Yeah.
Because the whole first case of money is basically blown to smithereens.
Yeah.
But
Jesse, she holds up in a cabin. Stallone walks in, half frozen to death.
Yep.
The cabin seems to be like almost like a supply room for climbers and travelers, because they have a lot of.
It seems like that, but do you notice that all the climbing gear, 1, is old, 2, it's in cases. So I always thought this was more like a museum that's like maybe only open certain times of the year, but they know that it's a place for shelter also.
Yeah, it could be. I'm not sure, but yeah, because there were glass counters and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
With gear in it. Maybe it's like a store.
Perhaps. I mean, I just know that it's because I always thought it was like a secondary ranger station. But then when I watch it again, it's like, oh, there's glass. They break the glass. They mention here soon about how old the rope is. So yeah, I was always like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, but it's a safe place. And yes, Stallone, Gabe, not walks in, kind of runs in, and yeah, he's frozen, and
he puts on a jacket and he's fine.
Yeah, Stallone spends a lot of this movie almost completely shirtless.
Yeah.
And not fully acting like he's being affected by the weather. I mean, they take right there, the first scene when he's going up to climb up for the money, they take his coat. So, I mean, he's without it for at least 30 minutes. The other issue I will say about this movie that I have right up front, it doesn't take them any time to climb these great distances.
No, they're pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, this takes place in a span of 2 days. So,
yeah,
but whatever.
Stallone and Jesse take off to try and get to the next crate.
Yes, because he's memorized where all of these were.
Yeah. He did see the map and he has local knowledge, so I'll let that one slide.
Oh yeah, no. Hey Rennie, how you doing? Thank you for being here, guys. Please do me a favor, smash that like button, and if you can help us out, my Twitter at chrisknight5150. Go there. My pinned tweet. Do me a favor, tweet that out. Let other people know about the stream. Yeah. So, yeah, he knows where the next 2 are. They go for the second one, and they get there before the bad guys do.
Well, the bad guys arrive at night, and they find the box, but it's empty, just next to the snowman. And the tracker is in the mouth, where the snowman's mouth would be, basically. And
Mhm.
there's a $100 bill or something that says, we should trade or something. Basically, he wants to trade the money for Hal.
Yep.
They start searching for Stallone. One of them finds him. There's a scuffle. Stallone and the other guy slides down a hill where
Quite a distance too.
yeah, Stallone's almost using the other guy as a sled.
Oh my god, yeah, he shoves his face into the ground, and you got to realize that even the way they show that, you can tell that upper there's a crust of ice on top of it.
I know what it feels like.
I'm glad you do and I don't.
Yeah, if you're skiing and the snow is hard and you fall like that,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, not good. It's worse than gravel.
Yeah, Sparking, you're stuck in a hotel, aren't you? That sucks. Oh man. But yeah, so he gets there right at the very end. He throws his ice pick up and grabs a hold of the side while the other guy goes and falls.
Yeah, it screams and falls. Yeah, in dramatic fashion.
Yes. He makes it back to Jesse, and they basically spend the night in a cave.
Yeah, okay, with bats. Well, the bats leave, but
That's true. Then they scare the hell out of her first, and then you get a good Stallone, like, I don't know, quip where he says that as they're staying in there overnight, they've got a fire, and he's throwing all the money in the fire, and he says that this place costs a ton to heat.
yeah, excellent. The next morning, though, they're climbing up, and the villains are directly above them.
Mm-hmm.
And Stallone climbs up through a ravine almost, or a crack, covered by snow, and he's sweeping the snow away, and he's yelling down to Jesse, and one of the villains hear it. The black guy, I forget his name.
Mm-hmm.
One of the henchmen.
Let's see here.
He catches Stallone, points a gun at him. Stallone swings his climbing pick up into his knee, jumps down. The guy shoots at him, follows him, and he beats the shit out of Stallone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Stallone gets beaten up. Then Stallone manages to, I think he hits him with something, gets a grip on him, and lifts him up above his head and impales him on a stalagmite?
I think tight is up. I'm trying to remember. Let's see here. Stalagmite is rising from the floor, so it's stalactite. That's from the roof.
Yeah,
I don't know why they changed it.
He impales him on it.
To put it mildly.
Yeah, there's straight through him.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was nothing.
He also, this guy, drops a radio.
Yeah.
The radio they're using to contact or to hear everything that the rescuers are doing. And that plays a very important role at this moment.
Yes,
and this guy is Leon. That guy is Leon Robinson. His name is Kenneth.
Yeah.
In the movie. But yeah, so as this is going on, Lithgow and Crystal, so Quaylen and Crystal are setting a bomb for 5 minutes above this crevice.
Oh, basically, on a, yeah, it's above.
Yeah, and they send this guy down, and he drops that.
he goes down by his own accord because he wants to kill him.
That's true. But he drops the radio. And as this is happening, they walk across this bridge spanning to the peaks, and Hal breaks free for a second and starts running. Well, he grabs the radio first off, and he runs across the bridge. And as he's running across, he's yelling into the radio, "Get out of there. There's a bomb above you. You got to get out. You got to get out. You got to get out." Well, one of the henchmen catches Gabe, not Gabe, but Hal. And I swear to God, they were going to kill him. I mean, there's several points in this movie I thought they were going to kill Hal. But they catch Hal and bring him back. And, well, while they can't reach the radio, they hear that Frank is on his way and that there's this bomb. And because they can't reach that radio, that becomes a very big... Actually, it's a very big thing that happens because they can't get that radio.
Yeah, and they head outside and try to swing across to get away from the bomb and stuff.
Which is dramatic. The 60-year-old rope. Do you think it's going to hold us? And he says, "What does he say?" It's kind of funny. He says, "Probably not," or something like that. And she says, "Wrong answer."
Yeah, they barely survive in action movie fashion.
Yep.
Good scene.
But that scene, this is hearkening back to the beginning, because the girl at the beginning, Sarah, has a glove on, and that's why he loses his grip on her. This scene, the rope snaps. He grabs onto the little cliff face there, grabs Jesse by her glove, but he's able to pull her up this time. So yeah. It kind of harkens back to the very beginning that this time, because they focus right in on that glove again.
Yeah.
So
at the same time, though, those two kids that Stallone encountered earlier have that they spot Hal and start to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
Lithgow orders his men to start shooting. Hal yells, run away and all that. One of the kids gets killed. Actually, this is before, because it's the black guy who shoots them.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. One of them gets away though. He jumps off a cliff and uses his parachute.
But he does get shot.
Yeah, he's injured. He's stuck in a tree. And Frank at this point finds him because he picks him up on the thermal something camera. He chases off some wolves and picks him up. And then
I assume he takes him someplace first, and then he comes back.
Yeah, and then Stallone and Jesse find that bridge the others crossed. They try to cross it. There's a bomb.
They place another bomb with a tripwire this time.
Yeah, the bridge snaps. They barely make it, but they're on the wrong side. Then Stallone orders Jesse to go away to warn Frank or something. He sends her away.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how that works.
He
split.
Yeah, they split up.
He's gonna go. Well, he says he's gonna go get the third case, but she needs to go and warn Frank.
Yeah, and Travis gets sent to find the third crate. While
well, no, because we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here. But we won't go into the full thing right there. Let's, especially for Miss Martin Muses, we won't go fully into this. But there's a whole scene after Frank lands, and there's a scene between Quaylen and the FBI agent again. What's his name? Or Travers. So Quaylen and Travers have this little thing back and forth where he says, "I'm in charge of this because I have the the tracker, and he then brings up the 15,000, 15 million, whatever combinations of every 15 seconds changes. He brings that up again. And he says, so go ahead. You want to kill me? Take it. And well, Quaylen knows he can't do it without this guy. So he throws it back at him and says, fine, we're partners. And we will definitely leave a lot of that out. What happens up there, because that is a very
well, she said it was fine because she's had plenty of time to watch it, so it's
okay.
Apparently good.
Well, first off, Frank lands and he finds Crystal, however you want to say it, in the snow. There's a not a flare, but a smoke signal there on the top of the mountain, and he lands, finds her, goes up to her, and she grabs this nice Colt. I think it's a Colt 45 that he has, out of his holster and points it at him and says, surprise or something like that. And he's like, what's going on here? And well, Frank gets killed.
The English guy is already shooting.
Yeah, well,
slow motion.
Well, Hal is being held down by Quaylen and the
English guy.
Mm-hmm. Which is, again, what's his name?
I don't think they even say his name in the movie, to be honest.
Yeah, they do. Oh, what's his name? Delmar. But Delmar and Quaylen are holding Hal, and then they let him go. And he says, and Quaylen says, you better hurry. And they go, and as he's running and screaming, he watches Hal get killed. And as he runs up to Hal and Hal's dying, he sees that Hal has this knife. He grabs the knife and puts it in his lower leg or in his sock or something like that. Well,
then the English guys told you we don't need Hal anymore. We can kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Hal plays on the guy's ego, basically.
Well, there's still the scene up at when they all meet back at the helicopter, because they go up to the helicopter.
Oh yeah.
Crystal gets in and says, well, because they're talking about using the helicopter to go find the next case, and she says, well, there's not enough gas, so we'll have to go look for it first and find it, and then we can go get it. And that's when the whole exchange between Quaylen and Travers happens about the piece, and he throws it back at Travers and says, fine, gentlemen, Travers is in charge because this and this, and then
Travers pulls his gun on Quaylen.
Yeah, he does, but he throws it back at him and says, fine, you're in charge. But he then pulls Crystal, holds her head, and shoots her right in the back. And then this is why I say Lithgow is underrated in this movie.
Yeah, he has a great line too, because he whispers to her and says, do you know what true love is? And he says, sacrifice. Then he just shoots her.
Boom, right in the back.
He's the only pilot.
Yeah, well, she falls. I want to make this very clear. She falls face forward, and she's just kind of laying there on the inside, half out, half in, half out of the center part of this helicopter. He says, now I'm the only pilot, so we're partners again. And he sends Delmar and Travers with Hal to go find the third case. And he says, I'm going to sit here and wait for your call, and then I'll come and get you. He literally at that point, I don't remember what he says. He says, come on, guys, we don't have much time or something like that. And
he sends Travers and he orders Delmar to kill Hal.
Well, I don't think that's between Travers and him that they say that. Once they get close to but the thing Quaylen does here is so freaking ruthless. He just killed his girlfriend. She's laying half out of the helicopter, and he says, we don't have much time. whatever. I don't know exactly the line, but he takes her hair and her head and just throws her out of the helicopter.
Yep.
Just like she's a piece of trash. Just boom, get out of my way.
She had served her purpose, basically.
Well, that's the thing, but he is absolutely bonkers ruthless.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be his girlfriend. He just shot her in the back, and now she's just lying there, and he just like, get out of my way.
Just shot her in the back to get an advantage, really.
Exactly, but it's like, wow. I still I see that scene so plainly clear. It's just amazing. Anyways, they go to look for the third case. By this time, Gabe has found it, and you see him get to it. He sees this hole, and you don't know what he's going to do, but he gets to it. And the next scene, it cuts over there, and Travers and Delmar and Hal, Travers sees that he found it, and he's like, okay, I'm going to go get it. And Delmar says, I guess we don't need him anymore. And he says, yeah, we don't. Go kill him, but do it quietly.
Yeah. He's about to shoot Hal. Hal taunts him.
Mm-hmm.
Basically calling him an asshole and stuff like that. And Delmar starts, he gives him a Glasgow kiss, which is basically a headbutt to the face.
Yep.
And starts talking about his background as a soccer player and starts kicking the heck out of Hal. This is my big gripe with this movie. The guy is from England and he says soccer.
Yes.
No Englishman would call it anything but football.
No proper Englishman.
Yeah. And he has a background in football, apparently, so he, of all people, would say football, not soccer.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
That bugged the heck out of me.
And when you told me that before we started, I'm like, you know what? And again, I'm American. I would never have thought of that, but you're absolutely right. A proper Englishman, especially somebody who talks about being a striker, like he knows the position, and it's a very English name that he gives it, because here, I don't know if we actually in soccer call it a striker.
It's striker or center forward. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
They do call it a striker in England.
Okay.
But,
that's what I'm saying.
As a huge fan of that magnificent sport and a former player, what I witnessed in this movie was a travesty. This was not good. We'll get to that when we give our final ratings for this movie.
So at this point, they fight, and Hal's getting his clock cleaned. I mean, Delmar does not hold back. He is kicking the shit out of him, literally. I mean, and Hal's sitting there kind of slumped over a rock, and Delmar gives a speech about, the striker, focusing on the target, and comes up and kicks him right in the face, and he goes and he starts falling off the edge, and he's holding on to the edge. Delmar comes up, steps on his hand, and the knife comes out, and he just shoves it right into, I think it's in his calf, isn't it?
I think it's in his knee.
It's somewhere. Sure. It's bad. Because I mentioned this a few days ago. I watched this on TV, so of course it was heavily edited, and they edited that part out. I'm like, what? I mean, all of the graphic, which they're not that graphic, but all the violent scenes they cut out. I'm like, what the hell is this movie? So last night I rewatched it, but right in the knee, in the calf, someplace is going to hurt. And he basically then grabs, it's either a shotgun or something that Delmar.
It's a shotgun. He manages to reach a shotgun.
He holds on to the shotgun, shoots him, and tosses him up.
Yeah, just shoots him in the chest, tosses him over. Meanwhile, Travers hears the shot and sees the body fall over, and he goes like, "You bloody idiot! I told you to make it quiet."
Exactly. Um, and at this point, he has the tracker, and he's noticing that the tracking beacon is moving everywhere. And he's trying to chase it down, and it turns out that Gabe put the tracking beacon on a rabbit, which is what the hole was all about. And Travers loses it, just flat out loses it, and throws the tracking device, and then just goes. He knows that Gabe is somewhere nearby. He goes and he tries to get to Gabe. And I'm trying to remember now.
He actually finds him.
Yeah, and he's shooting at him. I know that.
Yeah, and Stallone jumps off a heck of
Oh,
a
that's
steep
right. He
cliff.
does the Rambo jump.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, I mean even farther than in First Blood. But he does get nicked. I think a bullet hits him in the side.
Yeah, something like that, or he breaks a rib. I don't know what it is, but he gets injured. Travers follows him down to what seems to be like an old little settlement thing, because there's there's a bridge over a lake thing there.
Yeah, it's a cool set.
It just seemed out of place.
It does. It's like, where did this come from? But okay, let's just be honest though. Gabe knows all about this stuff, so perhaps he just knew it was there. I mean, I guess that they have these. I do know for a fact, because we see it a lot in this, that the people left, they left ladders, they've put rope bridges up, they've done a lot of this stuff. So I mean, I know that they do this. So it just seems out of place how they introduce this little spot. It's like, why didn't they go this way before or something like that? But yeah, they're in this little, I don't know, down at the bottom of one of the crevices, and it's got a frozen stream, lake, something that these bridges are over. And the two of them start fighting. Gabe ends up falling into the ice and falls into the water because the ice breaks, and he starts kind of swimming underneath the ice, and Travers goes and he has his gun out, and he looks and he finds Gabe, and then Gabe, if I remember right, shoots him with a flare.
No, it's one of those that you shoot bolts into the mountain with.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Okay, that's right. Yeah.
He shoots the heck out of them.
Oh yeah.
That's maybe the second most brutal death in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because Travers dies like 10 times.
Yeah.
And he falls through the ice, making a hole. Gabe almost gets through it. Hal shows up and pulls Gabe out of the water. And then we see, Travers drift through the under the ice. They then contact Quaylen, who has picked up Jesse, because
he says, "I have your money." Well,
because he picked up Jesse earlier when she thought it was Frank in the helicopter.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember. It's either Quaylen knows that he has the last case, or he tells him he has the money, and then he tries to say, "Well, you've lost" or something. And then he says, "Oh no, I have something you want." And he tells her to talk, and she doesn't want to at first. And he says, "Talk," and she does it. And she says, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. The same damsel in distress thing, which is okay. She's a strong character in this movie. It just so happens she got caught. Whatever, it happens.
Yeah. So she had no reason to believe that was not Frank.
No. Yeah. So they agreed to meet at a point. And when they get there, Hal is somewhere hidden. I can't remember. But they get to this mountaintop, and Gabe tells Quaylen, go put Jesse down over there. I have the money here. I'll wait here. You put her down there, then you can come back and get the money. And he tricks him into coming closer and he, I believe, jumps onto the helicopter, grabs the winch with a hook, and hooks it to this ladder that's on the side of the mountain.
Yeah, which traps the helicopter to the ladder, basically.
Mm-hmm. Well, the money goes flying, if I remember right at this point.
Yeah, Quaylen loses his shit. He tries to yank the chopper free.
And that pulls Gabe with the ladder off of the mountain. It literally rips it off the mountain. Gabe's holding on in between the mountain, the helicopter, like dangling off of this ladder. And the helicopter basically flips over, hits the cliff edge, but doesn't explode. It just...
Yeah, it's upside down.
Yeah, it's trashed.
Gabe lands on it, and a melee fight ensues with John Lithgow, who is surprisingly good at action scenes.
Exactly. And again, that's why I think he's underrated. The only thing I have ever said about this movie, and I said it the other day, and you said, well, I thought he was quite good. The first time he gives his accent, it just seems like it's very wow. But then maybe that's just because of all the other movies I've seen him in. I think he might be English partially. I don't know. I'd have to go and look at his background.
I don't know, but he's doing a good accent.
It thins out over time. It just seems so in your face right at the beginning, but as the movie goes on, it works fine. That's just my observation.
Yeah,
he did go to the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, but no, he is American.
He is such an underrated actor. I'd say skill-wise, he's an A-lister, really.
He has been in a lot of different stuff. Yes, I don't know if you'd consider him A-list now, but he was. He's now the progressive suit guy. But
yeah, I having seen him on Dexter, where he plays as Psycho, I can't say that he is worse than Anthony Hopkins.
No, he does very well.
They're on the same level.
Mm-hmm. No, he's a great actor. I mean, it's not that. But Gabe manages to get onto the ladder again. Oh no, he grabs onto the cliff as the ladder and Quaylen and the helicopter fall, and then they blow up.
Yeah, as is custom.
Yes, and then we didn't even mention the other FBI guys who are just flying in a helicopter randomly throughout this whole thing. I didn't think about that, but they really don't play that really important of a part until the very, very end when they come to pick. Well, they don't even pick them up. They just Jesse, House, and the rope down. They grab them. They get them up on there. The FBI guys that have been randomly flying around in this helicopter come. They finally get there, and they're like, "Oh well, we'll call somebody and have them come and get you." But can you guys sit tight for a while? Sure, we're all relatively not well dressed. We're cold, but we'll sit here for a few more hours.
Injuries, probably crippling injuries.
Yeah, I mean,
Stallone has a bullet in him.
Yeah, it's like, but they're like, yeah, sure, we can stay right here. Don't worry about it. Hey, son of a red shirt, good to see you here. Yeah, I looked that up. But yes, John Lithgow was born in Rochester, New York. So, but yeah, that's basically how the movie ends.
Good ending. They're all friends again.
Yeah. Well, you can tell really quick at a certain point that while Hal has a problem with Gabe, when they get caught together, he doesn't want Gabe to die. It's not like he hates Gabe.
Yeah.
He just doesn't like him anymore. He can't blame the guy.
But I think he knows that it probably wasn't Gabe's fault, but he needs something to blame, right?
Yeah.
That's often what happens if someone loses a loved one.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Because everyone will be looking for a reason or something to blame.
Mm-hmm. But so that's the movie. Let's move right along now to Our favorite scenes.
Favorite scene from. I think it's all the climbing scenes for me though, because it just looks so good.
I'm on that too. I mean, like I said, I'd have to go. I'd love to see a behind the scenes on this because you can tell that the scenes where Sylvester Stallone is in, that they're probably on a set, but the set is so massive that it's hard to tell. And then when they cut to the wide shots, it mixes very well with the close shots. They do a very good job. Whoever they have as a professional climber looks a lot like Stallone from a distance. And
this movie is dedicated to Stallone's stunt double, who died in a car accident right after the movie was filmed.
Yeah, I think I'd heard that before.
Sorry, spoilers from the trivia.
Yeah, no, you're all right. You're all right. But no, I'd go with you right there. I mean, there's just so many good scenes, and all of them are the cut scenes, or not cut, but they're the scenes, the transition scenes, all of that. The wide shots are great in this. Very cinematically massive.
If I have to pick one specific scene, though, I think it's when Stallone climbs up that ledge and they have a rope on him.
Mm-hmm.
Because now that's a very tense scene.
It is.
Because if someone starts pulling to pull you down, you're in deep trouble.
Yeah. I like the scene where Travers loses his crap because he put the damn beacon on a rabbit.
Yeah,
it's like, I mean, I can understand. Here you thought you had the last one, and now you find out, no, yet again, this other guy got to it first. And then he has the audacity to take the tracker and put it on a bunny to make me try to chase it.
Yep.
Fuck this guy. And, I could see losing my shit on that.
Oh, yeah, and he's been stressed out for quite a while.
Oh, yeah. And, well, plus the thing is he knows he's the odd man out the whole movie.
Yeah, and he's the one who gets the most shit.
Yeah.
He seems to kind of lose every battle with every verbal battle with Quaylen.
Quaylen always one-ups him. Oh, you're in charge. Hey, gentlemen, he's in charge. And he shoots his girlfriend and says, now guess what? We're back to being partners again. Like, yeah. You motherfucker. Every time. Okay. So good choices. Now, trivia.
Yeah, I have quite a bit of it today as well. Made a little text file with it.
Good.
Want me to start?
Sure, go right ahead, and I'll see if they match up with what I got.
Yeah, the aerial transfer scene where they basically plane hijacking stuff with transferring people and the money over to the next plane broke the Guinness World Record, the most expensive aerial stunt ever filmed. Stuntman alone was paid $100 million for doing it.
I only see 1 million, but maybe you're right. I don't know.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, he was paid $1 million. Sorry.
Okay. It's all right.
And the scene required the filmmakers to forego the use of safety equipment. So that was dangerous. You're basically climbing from one plane to another with no safety. Sylvester Stallone, was afraid of heights, so he took the role specifically to help him basically confront his fears. Christopher Walken was originally cast as Quaylen. John Lithgow was cast after Walken dropped out. The first choice, however, was to play Quaylen was David Bowie. That was the director's choice. Didn't happen. The scene with the bats were added. Well, the bats were added digitally in post-production because Stallone and Janine Turner didn't want to film near the animals. They're afraid of bats. In 1994, development began on a sequel called Cliffhanger 2: The Dam, which would have had Stallone's character against a group of terrorists at the Hoover Dam.
Mm-hmm.
As recently as 2015, Stallone has voiced an interest in returning for a sequel, though it hasn't happened. But there's a stupid remake with a female lead in the works.
Yeah, that's been going on for like 5 years, just about as long. I mean, I don't think. I mean, I hope it doesn't get done because I want Stallone to do it. And I think really with Stallone, it's a matter of if he wants to just put his weight behind it, it'll get done.
Jason Momoa said he would have a small part in the remake, so I'm guessing he's playing the Sarah character that falls off in the beginning. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe.
Cliffhanger was the last TriStar movie to feature the original logo. Also, rock climbers were not pleased with the movie because too many errors and inconsistencies and fabrications when it came to the sport itself. So they would know they're probably right. Originally, Stallone and Rennie Harlin were going to film a movie called Gale Force, featuring an ex-Navy SEAL dealing with pirates at the onset of a major hurricane. It was deemed too expensive, so everything was rewritten, and we got Cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
A movie called Gale Force was filmed, though, later on with Michael Dudikoff. So that could be it, because it sounds like that movie, actually, because I've seen it. And a little bit of useless trivia when it comes to football. Stallone is a supporter of Everton Football Club, which is located in Liverpool, and it's called, the People's Club, really, because people in Liverpool support that one. People all around the world support Liverpool. So that's where you get the local fans. It's Everton.
Nice. So the part where the whole rabbit scene and all that take place, they had to reshoot it, and they paid Stallone $100,000 out of pocket because the test audiences did not like the fact that the rabbit was killed. So they had to go back and reshoot it. Test audiences also reacted poorly to a scene where Gabe makes an impossible 40-foot cliff leap. In the original scene, appears in the theatrical trailer, but it was reshaped in post to look more plausible in the finished version. What else is there? You mentioned again this book.
Oh, it takes place in the Colorado mountains, but it was filmed in Italy.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. The late Wolfgang Gullich, widely regarded as one of the most skillful, daring, and popular rock climbers of all time, performed as a climbing double for Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, that's the guy who died in a car crash.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's dedicated to him because of that. During one climbing scene, Rennie Harlin complained that the safety lines were visible, so stuntmen performed the climb without any safety lines. Interesting. Oh, that's my phone. That's lovely. During one climbing scene, to demonstrate his faith in the safety equipment, Rennie Harlin put on a harness and flung himself out on a cable over a cliff. The credits include a message which explains that the black diamond harness used in the opening scene was specifically modified so that it would fail. So they made sure people knew that wasn't real. That was just because I'm sure Black Diamond was like, oh, we can't have that. So, all right. So let's do this. Final thoughts and ratings. I'll let you go first.
Damn good action movie. Story is good. The actors are really good. Like we said, all the wide shots and nature shots and that are spectacular. It's a well done movie, and a very underrated Stallone movie. I'm kind of glad it didn't get a sequel though, because not every movie needs a sequel. I think this one works very well alone. Am I to give the score as well?
Yes.
Well, I'm going for a 4 out of 5, but I'm docking it a point for the football thing.
So you would have done 5 out of 5 except for the football.
No, it's down to 3.
Oh, you're down to 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
You just don't do a mistake like that. It's unforgivable. And sorry, Renly Harlan, you lost a point because of it. So 3 out of 5.
Wow. Well, I am giving it a 4 out of 5, and I will say that yes, this is kind of a sneaky Stallone movie. It's just kind of I don't know. It sneaks up on you. If you don't know about it, it's there. But it's definitely a must see of his. I just don't think it gets the press or the acknowledgement that Rocky or Rambo or any of those movies get. It's just one kind of sneaks in there. So, but it's definitely a must see. But yeah, I give it a 4 out of 5. I think that it I don't know. It's a basic, straightforward heist movie, but it's got great shots. The cast is great. The acting is sufficient for what it is. John Lithgow knocks it out of the park as a bad guy, which is really surprising. So that gives us a rating of 8 out of 10. Or no, 7 out of 10. I'm sorry, 7 out of 10.
Yep.
Which I think so far, is that the lowest one we've done?
No, I don't think so. But
okay. I have to go back and look.
Yeah, but it's well worth a watch if you haven't seen it before, because excellent Friday night movie.
Just remember that Stig wasn't going to give it 4 out of 5 until the football thing. So for you Americans, it probably doesn't make a difference.
Because you're uncivilized.
Well, never said we weren't. So with that said, guys, it's our score, 7 out of 10. And we, Stig and I, will figure out what the next one is and might be here next week, end of this week. I don't know. We'll figure it out, though. So, hey, JJ, what's going on? We're about ready to wrap it up. Go back and watch the replay, please. But with that said, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Stig, tell them about yourself one last time.
Oh, just a fellow who shows up on YouTube and talks to YouTubers. Got a tiny, small channel stuff with some retro things on it and some funny commercials and some cartoons, actually. And my top 5 lists that everyone seems to like.
Mm-hmm. And ducks.
Yeah, that's it. Otherwise, you'll find me here or there. Or,
everywhere. Yes. Well, that's all we have for today, guys. I am Chris Knight. You've been watching the Real Review 3000 Movie Talk with Chris and Stig. I am Chris. That was Stig right there. And with that said, let's say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Hey, guys. Thanks for checking us out. Be sure to subscribe to both channels and make sure to check out our friends in the Fandom Minutes. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and BitChute. And you can also send us an email at sean@seanstackhousereacts.com and chrisknight@therealreview3000.com. And be sure to swing by our Teespring store to pick up some awesome merchandise.